Tonight, we are live from Paris, capping off another historic day at the 2024 Olympics. The epic comeback in the 400-meter race as Team USA cleans up on the track. But first, we start with the Taylor Swift concert terror plot foiled in Austria. Concert organizers canceling Swift's three-night run over fears of an attack. The concert, one of several major events targeted in Vienna. Two men now in custody, one with reported ties to ISIS. The new details just in about the alleged plot. Also tonight, Tropical Storm Debby preparing for a second landfall, lashing the East Coast with destructive winds and drenching rains, life-threatening flash floods threatening 15 million, the system unleashing tornadoes as the Northeast braces for heavy downpours. The new Democratic ticket out on the trail, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz making two campaign stops on their first full day as running mates. Both campaigns making dual appearances just miles apart, even landing on the same tarmac. Republican VP nominee J.D. Vance checking out Air Force Two, saying it will be his future plane, and trolling the vice president over whether she'll start doing interviews. Stuck in space, astronauts expected to take a 10-day trip, left stranded on the ISS for 2 months. NASA now trying to figure out how to get them back to Earth safely. At the Olympics, Team USA's Quincy Hall claiming Olympic glory after a dramatic finish. The world's fastest man, Noah Lyles, easily cruising through the semifinals. The surprising medal in cycling, and women's basketball knocking out Nigeria in the quarterfinal. And an inside look tonight at the incredible venue turnover. The event space flipped in just hours from basketball to breakdancing. Plus the comeback of a lifetime, artistic swimming claiming their first medal in 2 decades. After nearly drowning in a pool, one swimmer looking back on how far she's come and how surreal the moment is. And 2 years after the Winter Games, the figure skating team finally receiving their gold medals. Their much-earned moment in the spotlight after the Russian doping scandal. Top story starts right now. And good evening. Top story coming to you live tonight from Paris after another incredible day for Team USA. American Quincy Hall with a mad dash going from one of the last spots to snatching first place. And he wasn't the only athlete sprinting all the way to the podium. We'll have more on today's biggest events ahead in the broadcast. But first, we want to start with that breaking news. Singer Taylor Swift canceling her shows in Vienna over an alleged terror plot. Austrian police making the alarming announcement that Swift's concerts were one of several events targeted in the nation's capital. Police arresting 2 suspected extremists in connection with the planned attacks, one with reported ties to ISIS. The stadium, you see it, located in central Vienna, holds more than 50,000 people. Officials saying that the suspects were not going after Swift, but specifically aiming for large crowds. Event organizers releasing this statement, writing in part, "We have no choice but to cancel the 3 scheduled shows for everyone's safety." Vienna was slated to be the next stop of Swift's Eras tour. The pop icon has spent the past few months abroad during the European leg of her world tour. NBC's Keir Simmons starts us off tonight with new reporting about the suspects now in custody.
Tonight, 3 Taylor Swift concerts dramatically cancelled with less than 24 hours' notice after police in Austria foiled a terror attack with targets including her shows there. In just the past few hours, her website telling fans tickets will be refunded, many sharing their disappointment.
All 3 nights of the Vienna Eras tour are now cancelled.
A lot of tears in the streets of young girls, and that breaks my heart to see.
Jean Montone travelled from New Jersey.
We made a whole Europe trip about it, and so it's definitely disappointing, but at this point, I'm just excited to go home and see my babies.
Preparations had been continuing for her 3 era shows in Vienna, which were set to begin tomorrow, even as 2 men were arrested earlier today in connection with allegedly planning attacks in the city. One of them, a 19-year-old, who Austrian police say pledged his allegiance to ISIS and was focused on Taylor Swift's events. Officials say both men had become radicalized through the internet and had specific, detailed plans on how to carry out an attack. A bomb squad allegedly found chemical substances in the 19-year-old's home, but officials say it did not appear he had all the components needed to assemble a bomb. US officials warned just this year that ISIS was gaining the capability for renewed attacks on the West and American interests. In March, its Afghan offshoot, ISIS-K, took credit for 4 assailants storming a concert hall in Moscow, killing more than 140 people.
They saw a lot of press from it and probably a lot of funding coming from that. So they may probably want to duplicate it, especially with the name of the performer, that would just worldwide audience that you would get.
Music venues are a soft target. In 2017, 22 people, including children, were killed in a suicide attack outside an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, England. And in 2015, coordinated attacks in Paris, including the Bataclan concert hall, killed 130 people. Austrian security officials had said the danger had been minimized. But tonight, the event organizers saying in an Instagram post, "We had no choice but to cancel for everyone's safety."
Keir Simmons joins us tonight from here in Paris. So, Keir, I want to ask you, we talk about these 2 suspects. Do we know if they acted alone?
Well, tonight, Tom, 2 US officials tell NBC News that the hunt is on for an individual or individuals who may have had knowledge of this plot, and also that those that were arrested were being surveilled. But how dangerous they were, in other words, their capability, that's not yet clear tonight.
And before you go, you know, we reported they were targeting large crowds.
Right.
We're here at the Olympics in Paris. There are large crowds on every corner.
Yeah.
Is the threat level now increasing here?
There has been an increased threat level for all kinds of reasons, because of what we've been seeing in the Middle East, because of the kind of civil tension that you've seen, for example, in the UK in this past week, and you've seen in the past here in France. So there are questions. Also, for example, the US withdrawal from Afghanistan has lessened the intelligence from there, and ISIS-K are based or come from Afghanistan. So there are a number of factors. That being said, the security is really tight, and we've seen that here.
Yeah.
One chilling truism, though, Tom, as we always say, the security services have to be capable all of the time. The terrorists only have to be lucky once.
All right, Keir Simmons for us tonight. Keir, we appreciate all your reporting. Next tonight, we want to turn back home to politics. The other major story we're following, the race for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Governor Tim Walz, hitting key Midwestern states today, and the Trump campaign sending Senator J.D. Vance to those same battlegrounds. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has everything from the trail tonight.
Tonight, a battleground blitz. Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, sweeping through Midwestern swing states.
As we work to move our nation forward, Donald Trump intends to take our nation backward.
The ticket riding a wave of Democratic enthusiasm and cash. The campaign saying it's raised $36 million since yesterday's announcement. Walz today going after former President Trump while talking about the experience he and his wife had with IVF.
When Vice President Harris and I and everyone here talks about freedom, we mean the freedom to make your own health care decisions.
Harris did not previously know Walz well, but multiple sources tell NBC News she chose him because they clicked during an in-person interview on Sunday, and that it came down to trusting her gut.
We are running a campaign on behalf of all Americans. And when elected, we will govern on behalf of all Americans.
Late today, President Biden was asked if there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously.
Democrats highlighting Walz's working-class rural background and 2 decades in the Army National Guard. Former President Trump arguing Walz is too far left to win.
He's a very liberal man, and he's a shocking pick, and I'm thrilled. I could not be more thrilled.
Meanwhile, his running mate, J.D. Vance's plane landing at the same tarmac as Air Force Two, holding events near the Democrats.
And if what Kamala Harris has done at the southern border, and if what Kamala Harris has done to raise the price of groceries and housing, if that doesn't bother you, then I think that you don't have a pulse.
Vance also slamming Walz for these past comments calling for gun control, saying he carried weapons during war.
And we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Walz served in the National Guard, but never in combat.
Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war?
Today, the Harris campaign said Walz carried, fired, and trained others to use weapons of war innumerable times. Governor Walz would never insult or undermine any American service to this country. While back here in Michigan, Harris and Walz trying to shore up union support.
I've had so many people that have come forward and said they're so excited for this energy that she has brought. It's electrifying. I don't know if Joe Biden could have done that for us.
But some Arab American voters are still skeptical. We first met Lori Kamle-Ajlouni in February. Back then, she wouldn't vote for President Biden because of his response to civilian deaths in Gaza. Harris, now leading the ticket, makes her more hopeful, but
I'm still very leery, nervous that it may be more of the same.
At this point, do you plan to vote for Kamala Harris?
Not unless I hear a permanent, unconditional ceasefire.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez joins us live from the campaign trail tonight in Detroit. Gabe, early voting starts in less than 45 days. Republicans are now attacking Vice President Kamala Harris, asking when she's going to do any sit-down interviews or news conferences. Does she have any set up? Do we know if there's a date for any of these in the future?
At this point, Tom, no. The campaign says that she will do some in the future or soon, but right now they're trying to get her out with Governor Walz to tell his story. But they've been asked repeatedly when that first sit-down interview will be. We have no answer on that, but as you said, Republicans are focusing on that, and they are calling her out for not having more unscripted events tonight.
And then, let's talk about former President Trump. When does he hit the trail again?
Well, he has a scheduled campaign event in Montana on Friday. Of course, that's not a battleground state, but the Harris-Walz campaign, they are heading out west to the key battlegrounds, Nevada and Arizona. And this all comes, the Democratic National Convention is already the week after next.
All right, Montana, that's an interesting choice. Gabe Gutierrez for us from the campaign trail. Gabe, we always appreciate your reporting. For more on the state of this race, in 3 months from Election Day, let's bring in our political pros tonight. We have Michael Starr Hopkins. He's a Democratic strategist and a former staffer on the Clinton and Obama campaigns. And Hogan Gidley, former White House principal deputy press secretary in the Trump administration. We thank you both for being here. Michael, I'm going to tip my hat to you. You called it the other night right here on Top Story. You said it was going to be Governor Walz. He was somewhat of a wild card, but you were right. So why do you think he's going to help elevate this ticket?
When you look at what Governor Walz adds to the ticket, the fact that he was a teacher for 2 decades, you've got someone who was a football coach, who was a member of Congress, who put the first codification of Roe versus Wade into law after it was struck down by the courts. This is someone who really brings not just the Rust Belt, but Republicans and Democrats back together under the fold and helps Vice President Harris put together that Obama coalition that led to wins in 2008 and 2012.
Hogan, I want to play some sound for you from Governor Walz last night going after Senator J.D. Vance. Here's what he said.
Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on. That's not what middle America is. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
So, Hogan, does Governor Walz have a point there going after Vance with his somewhat interesting resume?
Well, what I love here is that reporters refuse to ask any questions of these folks. Gabe had an intro there where he said Republicans are angry and trying to call out the left for not doing any interviews. Why aren't the reporters calling them out as well? I mean, it's been 17 days, for heaven's sakes. But Walz makes an interesting point here because the media also tries to say his folksy attitude and all of his background is really going to make him resonate with so many people in the Rust Belt. I don't know how many small-town folks like the fact that Tim Walz wants our tax dollars to go to pay for illegal aliens and their college tuitions. I don't think that people in the Rust Belt really want our tax dollars to go to pay for illegal aliens and their health care. I don't think they want tampons in boys' bathrooms, things like that most of this country rejects. The radical policies of open borders, of defunding the police, things that Tim Walz has embraced, not to mention the fact if Kamala Harris could have a radical checklist, it would be the embodiment of Governor Walz. So everything she wants to do on the federal level, Tim Walz has done in Minnesota, and the people there don't like it. So I think this
Hogan, I get it. Yeah. Hogan, I get all of that, but I asked you a question that you did not answer, which is, has Governor Walz found a good line of attack against Senator J.D. Vance?
that his background is one of troubled youth, that his background is one of not having two nickels to rub together, that his background is one of a mother who was an addict, someone who didn't like Donald Trump and then got to meet him and see his policies and now likes Donald Trump. I think he is an embodiment of the American dream, for heaven's sakes. So this isn't going to be about J.D. Vance at the end of the day or Tim Walz. It's about the people at the top of the ticket and the radical policies that have hurt the American people. So while we're talking about the VP picks now, because one of them is brand new to the race, it still settles down, and we're still going to have a conversation about Kamala and Donald Trump.
Yeah, but Hogan, I got to be honest with you, Michael, I'm going to get to you in a second because Hogan sort of opened the door. It sounds like Republicans are focusing a lot on the media. This is nothing new. But like I pointed out, you have less than 50 days before early voting starts, right? You have a ticket that is established now. It's Vice President Kamala Harris. It's Governor Tim Walz. Why not focus on that? Because there does seem to be a lot of blowback from Republicans, especially from Senator J.D. Vance, focusing on the media right now.
Well, I don't think he's focused on the media. He's focused on the issues that matter to the American people. But don't pretend for 2 seconds that the media here, there's a reason their popularity sits somewhere between Congress and COVID. It's because they've been lying to us for a long time. And the same media that told us Russia collusion was real, that the Hunter Biden laptop and the Ashley Biden diary were fake, and that behind the scenes, Joe Biden was really running triathlons. He has all the athletic ability you need to be president, is the same media that told us 3 weeks ago that Kamala Harris should be off the ticket. Now she's the best vice president and the best candidate ever. So their credibility is shot. But to point that out is fine. But it still comes back to the issues, which is what Trump and JD are talking about.
Yeah. I get you don't like the media. I can understand that. Trust me, I get it. You made that clear. But my point is that time is running out. And anytime you spend a single second attacking the media or talking about the media or talking about the news, you're not talking about your opponents.
But you're pulling that out. But you're pulling that out. Most of his press conference, and by the way, it's interesting because JD's the one answering questions.
It was the first thing you said. It was the first thing you said when I opened up the segment. It was the first thing you said was you attacked the media instead of attacking the Harris-Walz ticket. I think we're good. I think we can put a pin in that. It's good. Michael, I want to talk to you, though. I do want to turn to you. Do you think Republicans are on the ropes? Do you think this new ticket has sort of found some inroads in how to attack them? But I will say this. You're still in the honeymoon phase on the Democratic side, right? And Republicans do have a point there. There's been no sit down. There's been no news conference.
Look, even the vice president acknowledges that we're the underdogs and we still have work to do. But with a little under 90 days left, what we saw is a 6-point swing in the polls. We've seen over $200 million raised. And look, let me get to Hogan's real point about being radical. I don't think it's radical to make sure that kids have breakfast in their stomach and lunch in their stomach. I don't think it's radical to say that if you can't afford go to college, we want to make sure that everyone can afford that. I don't think it's radical to say that if you're a woman, you should have the right to say what's going on with your body. That's really what Democrats are running on. And that's the difference between Democrats and Republicans right now. Republicans want to talk about freedom, but Democrats are actually putting it out there.
But Michael, but like I said, the same thing I did to Hogan, I'm going to do to you too. You didn't answer my question. Why hasn't the vice president had a news conference? I mean, she's at the top of the ticket. Why hasn't she had that sit down, a major interview where she's facing tough questions? It's been several days. When is it going to happen?
Yeah, I think this is something that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. But let's remember, she's only been in the race
Michael,
jeez. Yeah. She's only been in the race for less than 3 weeks. She still had to pick a vice presidential candidate. She will do public interviews. I don't think that's something that anyone should be afraid of.
She is.
I do want to roll a piece of sound with you. This is one of the inroads, one of the attacks, the line of attacks Republicans are using on Governor Walz. It's about something he said about socialism. It's been circulated out there on social media. I want to get your response to it. Let's roll that clip.
And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Michael, I asked Senator Heidi Heitkamp about this yesterday because that label of socialism hurt Democrats so much in certain states in 2020. Are you worried that this could stick in 2024, or do you think voters are past that?
Voters are absolutely over this. This argument, socialism, progressivism, at the end of the day, what people want to know is, do they have access to affordable health care? Do they have access to good jobs? Do they have access to the American dream, which is to be able to buy a home and hand that over to your kids? Under Donald Trump, the economy went down. Now we're seeing inflation go down. We're seeing unemployment go down. And that American dream is going to be able to be more achievable once we make sure that Trumpism and vulture capitalism never comes back to the White House.
Hogan, why is former President Trump campaigning in Montana? Like, explain that to me.
Most likely because of John Tester and his shaky race out there. I mean, that guy's running ads against Joe Biden and the policies of the open border, even though he supported them. So chances are he could be out there trying to raise some money and expose kind of one of the more liberal senators out there trying to pretend as though they're conservative. But listen, back to what Michael said, I think it's important to kind of unpack this, because Kamala Harris in these speeches, you hear what she's saying, that you want to be able to not just get by, but get ahead. And we will solve the southern border. Oh, if only you'd only been in a position of power for the last 4 years from which to try to do any of these things. That's right, you were. You failed at them all, and they act as if these things are just happening to them. They're happening because of them. The very things she's complaining about are her fault. She and Joe Biden did this to the American people. That's what this race is going to be about. And if Republicans focus on that and not focus on these issues kind of on the outskirts, drill down on what the American people care about, because if you're talking the border, if you're talking the economy, if you're talking crime, we are on the right side of all of those issues. It's just incumbent upon us to hold their feet to the fire for their bad policies.
Michael, how bad of a mistake or how much is this going to haunt Governor Walz, that line that we saw in Gabe's piece where he was talking about weapons of war that he carried into war, even though he never actually fought in war, though he served in the National Guard? Do you think that's going to be a problem for him?
No, I think service should be out of question. Look, J.D. Vance served. Governor Walz has served. I don't think we should get into kind of the who served more. We should, respect the fact that both of them have served our country bravely and really focus on the issues there. I don't think that's a really big issue for either side to be delving into.
Michael Starr Hopkins, Hogan Gidley, we thank you both for. Wait, yeah, Hogan, go. You
just real quick, can we do this panel tomorrow night live from Paris with you? Can we come to Paris and do this?
Yeah, you'll be invited. Yeah, Hogan, check your inbox. Check your inbox for the ticket. Just keep hitting refresh. It's going to be there.
Sure.
Michael, Hogan, we thank you guys for being here tonight. Next to the weather and that wave of powerful storms hitting up and down the East Coast, roads in New York and New Jersey flooded, and further south, Tropical Storm Debby churning off the Carolina coast as residents brace for a second landfall. Priscilla Thompson is in Lumberton, North Carolina tonight with the preparations now underway.
Tonight, treacherous storms slamming the entire East Coast. Floodwaters filling the streets of New York and New Jersey. Cars abandoned. The region experiencing record-breaking rainfall even before the remnants of Debby arrive. Officials in New York City using drones to warn residents.
Be prepared to leave your location if flooding occurs. Do not hesitate.
Oh my God, I never heard it so bad. It was coming down in buckets.
Overnight, more than 2,000 flight cancellation and delays in the New York City area alone.
And there's a tornado somewhere in the area.
And in Ohio, tornado sirens sent shoppers fleeing. Strong winds shredding homes, knocking down power lines like dominoes, and flipping this car upright. Further south, Tropical Storm Debby gearing up for another destructive run. Now churning over the Atlantic, re-strengthening before a second landfall on the Carolina coast. Already today, a tornado touching down in North Carolina. Residents in Huger, South Carolina, rescued by boat after the rising river sent floodwaters rushing in. As officials in Charleston work desperately to pump water out.
We have never experienced anything like this.
NBC's Aaron McLaughlin is in Myrtle Beach.
Here at Myrtle Beach, we're being hit by a pretty significant storm band, lots of wind, but it's the rain that authorities are most concerned about.
Now is not the time to see if your car floats, because it doesn't.
Here in Lumberton, crews worked through the night building this makeshift dam, hoping to stave off rising waters.
So this might look like a pile of dirt, but what is it to you?
This is hope.
Hope to avoid a repeat of these desperate scenes from past storms.
When the river comes up, gets after about 21 feet, it comes through this opening right here and turns all of this into the river.
So it can flood the whole city?
About half of it. This absolutely will save property and lives.
All right, Priscilla joins us tonight from Lumberton, North Carolina. Priscilla, we can see there some of the measures put in place there, those makeshift levees, if you will. How concerned are the residents you've been speaking to as Debby takes aim again there in the Carolinas?
Yeah, Tom, they're very concerned. Officials tell us that 911 has been inundated with calls about flooding, evacuations, and shelters, and some wondering whether this makeshift dam is going to hold. Now, the man who built it tells us that it will, but the people who live on the other side of this dam closest to the river are very concerned. We just spoke to a resident there who says that if the rain keeps coming down like this, he thinks they'll be okay, but if it starts to rain harder, they may be in trouble. Tom?
Okay, Priscilla Thompson for us. Priscilla, we thank you for that. For more on Tropical Storm Debby's march up the East Coast, NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns joins me now. Bill, you've been sounding the alarm all week about how slow-moving this storm is, and it's set to do even more damage.
Yeah, Tom, if we're in a football game, we just got done with halftime, and now we're going into the third quarter. And we kind of had a little break during halftime. We haven't had a lot of significant flooding in the last 24 hours. That's ending as the storm is now about to approach the South Carolina coastline once again. The heavy rain bands have been with us now for the last couple hours. They're not going anywhere. It's pouring from Wilmington. We even have some isolated tornadoes warnings in place, and that will continue through the night. So the path of the storm does take it on shore right around midnight, maybe 2 a.m. That'll be that second landfall. It's no eyes. The winds aren't going to do any damage. This is just a rain forecast. So literally as we follow the path of the storm, near that center path will be the heaviest rain, and that's going to take it through the mountains of Virginia, through the mountains of Pennsylvania, right up through the Catskills and into the Adirondacks. A lot of mountains in the way of this storm, and that is not good. The mountains wring the moisture out. It rushes down into the valleys, and that's where you get a lot of flooding very quickly. You don't even need 10 inches of rain. Just 4 inches of rain can do it. So we have numerous flash flood warnings in effect in South Carolina, also near the Wilmington area, and flood watches are all the way up to State College. So how much additional rain? This is tonight and tomorrow, as much as 7 inches in Fayetteville, heading up to the mountains near Roanoke. That's 5 to 6 inches of rain. That's a problem. And then a little lower amounts of rain in Pennsylvania and upstate New York through Vermont. That's because the storm's going to be moving faster. All eyes tomorrow, Tom, are going to be on areas of North Carolina through the Piedmont into the mountains of Virginia. I'm very concerned with this region from Greensboro up into Roanoke as we get to the hills and the mountains. That Blue Ridge, it's very rare for them to get this much rain this fast. And, Tom, I'd be shocked if we don't have life-threatening flash flooding going on this time tomorrow.
Still a very intense weather event. Okay, Bill Cairns for us tonight. Bill, thank you for that. We do want to turn now to our special coverage of the Olympic Games. It has been an incredible day of upsets and close calls here in Paris. American athletes continuing to dominate on the track, plus Team USA winning its first weightlifting medal in 40 years, and one of the most highly anticipated events of these Paris Games about to kick off. We got an early look. Tonight, American Quincy Hall is the comeback king.
Can he get there? He does!
The sprinter winning gold with an unbelievable run in the 400-meter race.
He had energy and speed in abundance.
Pushing through with force in the final stretch, exerting every ounce of energy to overtake multiple runners and claim victory, then celebrating with snow angels on the track.
And Kenneth Rooks of the United States is leading the men's steeplechase.
And minutes later, underdog Kenneth Rooks pulling off a shocking silver medal finish for Team USA in the 3,000-meter steeplechase.
Noah's got some work to do to get to Bogo.
The world's fastest man, Noah Lyles, finishing second in his qualifier, guaranteeing him a spot in the 200-meter final tomorrow, along with his teammates Kenny Bednarek, known as Kung Fu Kenny, and Arian Knighton.
And it is going to be Team USA!
Cyclist Kristen Faulkner, the venture capitalist turned Olympian who stunned the world on Sunday with her win in the road race, picking up her second gold medal as the U.S. edged out New Zealand in the team track competition.
Going absolutely crazy, Tom Shaw.
In the last day of skateboarding, U.S.'s Tom Shaw winning silver in his Olympic debut, getting cheered on by Snoop Dogg and skateboarding legend Tony Hawk, who were in the stands.
Talk to me about the flag draped around your shoulders. You have a silver medal. I mean, what does that feel like?
Yeah, I mean, the chances were pretty slim of me getting here. I barely qualified last second. So I'm just really trying to enjoy the moment right now. It's hard to describe. I'm pretty lost for words right now. I'm just over the moon.
Tonight, crews hard at work turning over one of the city's hottest event spaces, and we got an inside look. The venue is now being transformed into one of the most talked about events of these games, breaking. There's going to be a DJ booth, there's a circular stage, and breakdancers from all over the world.
Another dime. Wilson.
The U.S. dominating across team sports again today. Women's basketball cruising to a win over Nigeria, joining the men's team in the semifinal stage.
Roberts sends the United States into the semifinal round in Paris.
Men's water polo defeating Australia after an extremely tight match that ended with a penalty shootout. It will be the squad's first time appearing in the semifinals since 2008.
Absolute heartbreak for the United States.
But it was a devastating loss for the men's volleyball team in the semifinal.
Poland was reeling and somehow regrouped.
Poland knocking out the U.S. after managing to push ahead in a nail-biting match.
Golden glow for Sarah Hildebrandt.
Over in wrestling, Sarah Hildebrandt taking home her first gold medal in her weight class for women's freestyle. Hildebrandt is now just the second American woman to win 2 Olympic medals in the sport.
A bright lift from the young American.
And a huge moment for 20-year-old Hampton Morris, who became the first American man to win an Olympic weightlifting medal in 4 decades after winning the bronze in the men's 61-kilogram division. And that bronze medal adding to Team USA's huge overall medal count. Let's take a look. It's closing on at 100. We have 94 total medals, up ahead over China on gold medals. That's really important, especially with the International Press Corps. But Team USA doing great, leading the pack with 27 with 4 days of competition left to go. Still ahead tonight, back at home, Grammy Award-winning rapper Nelly under arrest. The charges he now faces after drugs were found in his possession. And in the UK, thousands of protesters flooding the streets following violent riots. The unrest boiling over, fueled by anti-immigrant sentiment. Plus, stuck in space, what we know about the astronauts unable to return to Earth. Our live coverage of the Olympics continues. Stay with us. We are back tonight from Paris. We're going to have much more Olympic coverage later in this broadcast. But right now, I want to turn over to my friend Ryan Nobles in D.C. with today's other headlines. Ryan, good evening.
Tom, good evening to you. Thank you. And let's get right to Top Stories news feed. Grammy Award-winning rapper Nelly arrested at a casino near St. Louis, Missouri. Authorities say he was initially arrested for failing to appear on a traffic violation warrant, but then officers found 4 ecstasy pills in his possession. He was also charged with not having insurance. He has since been released from custody. So far, reps for Nelly have not responded to a request for comment. Overseas, a rescue operation underway after a deadly hotel collapse in western Germany. Rescuers seen pulling a person out of the building on a stretcher as crews searched for survivors. At least 14 people were inside the hotel when its upper floor caved in last night. At least 2 people killed and several others trapped. The cause is still under investigation. 2 NASA astronauts from Boeing's first crewed voyage of the Starliner are still stuck in space, and they could be there for another 6 months. Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams have been on the International Space Station for 63 days, but it was only supposed to be a 10-day mission. NASA's still trying to fix the thruster and helium leak malfunctions on the capsule to bring them back safely. The agency delaying its next astronaut launch to buy more time for the troubled crew. And the Environmental Protection Agency issuing an emergency order to stop the use of a pesticide that it says can harm fetuses. The EPA says exposure to the herbicide known as Dulfcan can cause unborn babies to experience irreversible health problems. That includes impairments to brain development, motor skills, and IQ. The pesticide is used to control weeds on a wide variety of fruits and vegetable crops. And now it's time for Top Stories Global Watch and an update on the violence boiling over in the UK. Thousands of counter-protesters taking to the streets after weeks of anti-immigration and racist protests broke out across the country. Our Josh Letterman is on the scene with the latest.
Tonight, backlash building against the anti-immigrant and racist violence on the streets of the United Kingdom.
Show me what the community looks like!
Counter-protestors marching after thousands clashed with police outside asylum centers and immigration law firms across the country in previous days.
Here in North London, hundreds of counter-protesters are marching through the streets in solidarity with refugees and migrants. They are trying to send a message that those who are committing acts of violence or are rioting do not represent them.
We're here as a community, black, whites, Jews, everyone in between, all genders, all faiths, all sexualities, and we're here to say we will not be divided and brought down to your debased level of violence and racial hatred.
The intensifying violence brought on by a disinformation campaign after the murder of 3 young girls in a horrific stabbing spree last week. Far-right groups posting false information on social media, claiming the suspect was an immigrant in the UK illegally. It went viral, but it wasn't true. Authorities say the suspect is a 17-year-old born in the UK. Police now say they've arrested more than 400 people and have already begun charging and sentencing individuals as Britain's new Prime Minister vows swift legal action.
A message has to go to those who are involving themselves in this disorder, which is you're wrong, you shouldn't be doing it, and you will feel the full force of the law, as I hope we're being able to demonstrate with these swift prosecutions.
Mosques and shops boarding up their windows and increasing security as many Muslim residents live in fear.
Seeing the events that have just taken place in the city of Liverpool, and not just the city of Liverpool, but in the UK as a whole, that's really scary.
Police have issued dispersal orders to try to get people off the streets in many parts of the UK, while in other areas, police have been given special powers allowing them to stop and search essentially anyone that they want as the government tries to get these riots under control. Ryan?
Okay, Josh, thank you for that report. And up next, Tom is back from Paris with the latest on the Olympics, and 2 U.S. teams are heading to the next round in their sports. We're breaking down what's ahead for the U.S. men's water polo team and the U.S. women's basketball team as they battle towards the gold.
And that was the game-winning goal for the U.S. men's water polo team, surviving a shootout to advance past Australia to the semifinals for the first time since 2008, where they'll face Serbia. For more on Team USA semifinal matchups ahead and tomorrow's big day on the track, I'm joined by our friend, Gold Zone host Scott Hansen. Scott, always great to see you. Team USA looks strong in team events here in the second week of Olympic competition. You not only have men's water polo making it to the next round, but women's basketball cruising to victory against Nigeria in their quarterfinal. They're on a quest for their 8th straight gold and will go against Australia. Give it to me straight. How good do they look?
I think you could take an all-star team, Tom, from the remaining 200+ countries besides the United States, and they still wouldn't beat this U.S. women's basketball team. This is, historically speaking, the greatest team in the history of Olympic sports, and they will cement that with their 8th gold medal should they advance to Sunday's championship game, which looks like a pretty sure bet at this point. I mean, you've got Breanna Stewart, Asia Wilson. That's 4 WNBA MVP trophies just put together, and we haven't even mentioned the elder stateswomen like Diana Taurasi and the rest of the Olympic experience here. USA women are rolling, going for their 8th consecutive gold medal. No team in any sport, for men's or women's, in the history of the Olympics has been able to do that. Looks like all systems are go for USA in women's hoops.
It is an incredible run. Tomorrow's also a day of semifinals. You've got women's volleyball, and a reminder, beach volleyball not that great for the women's on the women's side for Team USA, but women's volleyball different inside, and women's water polo fighting for their spot in a gold medal match. Whose chances do you like the best?
Well, I tell you what, the U.S. women's water polo team, I'd like to highlight them for a second. They are the back-to-back reigning gold medalists in the last 2 games. They're advancing through the tournament, but they do not look invincible, or maybe as people had predicted coming in. But Maggie Steffens and the team, I think, can put it together. They've got Australia in the semifinals tomorrow. I like their odds. Beach volleyball, you mentioned very briefly, though, that's a shocker. Team USA, both the two men's teams in beach volleyball and women's teams in beach volleyball for Team USA have been eliminated. There will be no medal in beach volleyball for Team USA for the first time since beach volleyball became a sport, which was back in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics.
Yeah, beach volleyball, beautiful venue. We never want to talk about it ever again. U.S. men's basketball, like the men's water polo team, set to face Serbia in the semifinal. Is there any doubt Team USA gets the gold?
No, I think LeBron James and company are clicking. This men's basketball competition was billed as perhaps the greatest international basketball competition ever held on the planet. I mean, certainly since the NBA players have been involved with Olympic basketball in 1992, the Dream Team Barcelona. People thought that there were squads out there like France and other countries, Serbia, that would really give this Team USA a run for their money. But there's no indication that that's going to be the case. I mean, we could get into a tight game, but who would you rather like to have with the ball at the end of the game? When you could turn to LeBron, he's got Steph on one wing, he's got KD on another, he can dump it down in to the big fellas inside. Team USA looks quite good for another gold medal in men's basketball.
Yeah, that finals is probably the hottest ticket right now at the Olympics. I do want to ask you, though, about tomorrow. Set the stage for our viewers. We have maybe what I think might be the most incredible day in track because you have 3 Americans, all who could possibly win the gold medal. Maybe we sweep the podium in the 200-meter. Tell our viewers why.
Well, the name Noah Lyles could become the singular headline name in these games, at least in the men's side of track and field. Noah Lyles, the fastest man in the world. We all saw it. He won by 5 1,000ths of a second, 5 milliseconds. It takes 1 millisecond to blink. So he won the 100 in that amount of time. The 100 was the harder part of the double, so to speak, for Noah Lyles. And when you talk about the double, 100-meter dash, 200-meter men's final, which comes up tomorrow night. As you said, we'll have it for you on Gold Zone. NBC will have it for you as well. You're only talking about 2 names in the last 50 years of Olympic competition that have been able to pull off the men's 100 and 200 double. The 2 names, Carl Lewis and Usain Bolt. You can add Noah Lyles to that list if he's able to pull it off. And this is his best event. However, in his semi, he finished second in his semi. So maybe hitting cruise control a little bit too early. We'll see if the mental game is there for Noah Lyles. The physical game certainly should be. It's going to be a fun night at Stade de France in track and field.
Scott, you heard it here first. I'm also watching Kung Fu Kenny. I've been watching him in these prelims. He is so fast. I had a chance to talk to him a couple days ago. It looks like he wants this maybe even more than Noah does.
Yeah, Kenny Bednarik is right there, and it would be that much sweeter because we know Noah doesn't lack for confidence. He's come out and said, oh, I'm far and away even better than my teammates on Team USA. And, yeah, Kung Fu Kenny, cinch the headband a little bit tighter and see if you could find that extra 1/10 of a second tomorrow night on the grandest stage in track and field.
Yeah, I may have to buy one of those bandanas and wear it tomorrow if he wins. All right. Always a pleasure to have you.
Send me one, too.
I'm going to send you one, Scott. Thanks so much. All right. Coming up, Team USA adding to their medal count from the 2022 Winter Olympics. U.S. figure skaters finally getting their gold after their medal ceremony was canceled due to a doping scandal. What it feels like to now be in the top spot and be celebrated here in Paris. We're going to have that. Stephanie Goss standing by for us. We are back with our coverage of the Olympics as the U.S. continues to rack up gold medals in the Summer Games. They've also added to the medal count for the last Winter Olympics. You heard me right. The 2022 U.S. Olympic figure skating team getting their medals here in Paris after a doping scandal involving a Russian athlete derailed their time on the podium. Our Stephanie Goss sits down with those figure skaters who are finally receiving the golden recognition they deserve.
Gold medalist and Olympic champion, United States of America.
A moment years in the making. Team USA's figure skaters finally getting their gold medals right here in Paris.
We've been dreaming of this since we left Beijing without those medals.
It was a dream come true because we had always wanted to have that Olympic moment.
The medal ceremony they should have had in Beijing was derailed by a doping scandal.
Does it get any more precise than that?
What a tremendous result for Team USA.
News broke that Russian skater Kamila Valieva tested positive for a banned substance before the Games. At the time, Valieva said she may have been contaminated by her grandfather's heart medication. The 15-year-old Valieva helped propel the Russian team to a first-place finish.
Second place.
The U.S. finishing in second. But an investigation was immediately launched into the doping allegation. No one was getting medals.
We were supposed to be leaving for the ceremony, I don't know, within 10 minutes, and then we got the news that it was postponed, and then soon after that it was canceled.
But due to this, it was like, oh my gosh, where are we at? Confusion, frustration, excitement. It's like it was just, we were all over the place.
Valieva was eventually banned from the sport for 4 years. Her results in Beijing thrown out. Appeals took years. The Court of Arbitration for Sport confirmed Team USA won gold the day before the Paris opening ceremony.
Should it have happened faster?
You know what? I think I'm very grateful that the time was taken to make sure that the decision was the right one.
They are also happy to be here. And unlike Beijing, their families were in the stands.
How many family members are we talking about?
Oh my gosh,
I've got
so
a group
many.
of 10. I think collectively we have like 30
I've got a
people.
group of 5. Yeah.
All here to celebrate recognition a long time coming, but no less deserved.
And with that, Stephanie Goss joins us now in Paris. Stephanie, I think it's important to sort of take a step back. Our viewers may be watching this going, figure skating, performance-enhancing drugs, you think of bulky baseball players and football players. How could those drugs, or how did they help that team from Russia?
Well, the important thing to think about is that when they're out there on the ice, it is hard, and they're out there for a long time, and you lose your breath. It is a real cardio experience, and what this Russian skater tested for positive was TMZ, and it is a cardio enhancer. In other words, you're able to maintain a high heart rate for a longer period of time, and that is why it would give you an edge in figure skating.
Okay, now you had a chance to talk to the team that is the gold medal winner now, and you know, you got to this towards the end of your piece, but it's sort of like a Lazarus moment, right? It's your whole life you train for something and you think, okay, I'm leaving with this medal, and then years later, it's like, no, you're a gold medal winner. How do you think that's affecting them?
Think about the moment. Think about the athletes we are highlighting at these Olympics. They have this one moment. They are in the spotlight. They win the gold medal. It ends up opening up real doors for them. They go home and they get all of these opportunities. If it's delayed, if they are taken out of that spotlight, it just doesn't have the same impact. And while they are incredibly happy to be here and they get this moment and their families are here, and that is wonderful, they do acknowledge that they have missed out on something as a result of this, and it is because someone else broke the rules. I would also mention, too, that this skater, Tom, was 15 years old at the time she was being coached by adults. You have to question who was in charge of this and who was really responsible.
It is twisted when you put it into that kind of perspective. Stephanie Goss for us. Stephanie, we thank you for that. When we come back, another memorable moment here in Paris. Team USA's artistic swimming winning silver. Did you see this? Earning its first medal in 20 years. We hear from the athletes who made it happen, including Anita Alvarez, who overcame a serious health scare and is now a champion. Stay with us. Here's a look at Team USA's artistic swimming winning bronze in Athens in 2004. It's the last time Team USA medaled in that event, and they haven't even qualified in the last 16 years. But tonight, they are back on that podium. The ultimate reward for hours of grueling training and family sacrifices. Dana Griffin has their story tonight.
Such a comeback story for the United States.
A 2-decade dream fulfilled.
Really pushing the envelope on choreography.
Team USA taking silver in the team competition for artistic swimming, the U.S.'s first medal in the event since 2004.
Just to see how far this team has come and how much we've overcome and all the struggles and challenges we've pushed through to accomplish this. It's just, we know that all the work that we've done is worth it.
This year, China taking the top spot on the podium. But for Anita Alvarez, just being able to compete is a win. During the 2022 World Championship, Alvarez lost consciousness moments after finishing her routine, sinking to the bottom of the pool. Her coach dove in fully clothed to save her.
What does looking at that photo today
mean to you?
It kind of reminds me of, I pushed through and I stuck with it at times when I was wondering if I should just, be done.
2 years later, she's leaving Paris a champion.
To be able to be here, compete strong, leave with an Olympic medal when, a few years ago I was thinking I might hang up the goggles. So it's just unreal.
Teammate Daniela Ramirez not only winning the medal for herself, but also her family.
I could conquer the world right now.
She's a third-generation artistic swimmer, learning the sport from her grandmother and mother.
Everybody and more was in the stands today, and they were so proud. I could hear them shouting from the moment I walked out.
The family moving from Venezuela in the 1990s to the U.S. to help Daniela follow her dreams.
I come from a family of immigrants, so this is what it means to be an immigrant. You want to make your family proud, and it just means everything to me to be here right now.
8 artistic swimmers and 1 alternate for Team USA punching their ticket to Paris at the World Championship in Qatar, snapping a 16-year drought.
The United States back on the podium in artistic swimming.
Now they're celebrating this medal as a team in sync, even underwater.
Thanks so much for watching Top Story. I'm Tom Llamas in Paris. We leave you tonight with this incredible image, a bird's eye view of Team USA's Quincy Hall celebrating his win in the men's 400-meter final. Look how unique and how beautiful that photo is. The U.S. flag draped over his shoulders, standing right there by those Olympic rings. We thank you. Good night.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.